Hello, agents. Welcome to the Ingress Insights podcast, hosted by PkmnTrainerJ. Ingress Insights aims to give you the latest news and updates about the Niantic Spatial game Ingress. Whether you're a veteran agent who has recursed 17 times or a brand new agent working to level 8, wondering what a fracker is, this is your place for the latest Ingress news and discussions. 2026 sees Ingress renewed under Niantic Spatial and many new campaigns to engage agents. So, plenty to discuss. Share any thoughts by checking our social media links. Now, over to Ada.
Additional intel available.
Hello, agents, and welcome to the Ingress Insights podcast, episode 164. In this week's episode, we'll be looking at our second ever dev diary we've received and looking at some brief Apollo news and all the campaigns going on, as well as in the bonus segment looking at what happened after Obsidian with the XM draft. I'll also be reviving an old section at the end of the podcast related to Recon/OPR, so do listen for that if you're interested in when that returns. If you want to get the bonus content, you just need to sign up for Patreon on any of the tiers, the $1 or $5 tier, and then you'll be able to listen to the episode as it is and then get some nice bonus content at the end. They'll be clearly marked on Patreon as bonus, so you can see which one you should be listening to on there. All that admin stuff over, we'll now get into the anomaly news. Only a little bit of anomaly news this week for Apollo. So the sites for the anomalies in Seoul, South Korea and Paris, France have been ornamented on the Intel map. If you don't know what this means, it just means the area where the anomaly is going to be happening has now been marked. So you'll see all the portals have got little rings around to indicate they are part of the playbox for that anomaly series. So you'll be able to see what portals you should be getting after, what portals you should get some knowledge on maybe beforehand, figure out where they are, what's going on, how you can get around there if you're visiting the city for the first time. But you'll see them on the Intel map, and if you've got keys for them, you'll be able to see them as well. Nice little way of just seeing, yes, this is the playbox, this is where it's happening beforehand, because that isn't until next month. As I said, that's all there is for Apollo news this week. There's not anything coming up on there as yet. So we'll move into the Ingress news, where we've got many campaigns going on and a new campaign coming up as well. For regular Ingress news, we still have a load of campaigns running on. So we've got the 4 campaigns that are in Red Codex, with one of them being free, the other 3 being paid on there. And that runs until the 31st of July, 6 p.m. UTC. I have managed to complete all of them on there. I'm on the second or third go round on a few of them. So I just need to complete a few more bits. It does end, as I said, in a few days on the 31st of July, so there's plenty of time to still do it on there. There is a lot of media related to Red Codex as well, so make sure you're picking that up. If you've not managed to complete or you're not going to go through all the paid campaigns, you can always view it on ingress.plus. They have a nice mediagress section where you see all the media, catch up on what's going on. And we do also have Moonlit Paths going on, which is a totally free campaign. This one runs until the 14th of August, 6 p.m. UTC. And there's 5 initial stages to get to the Moonlit Pass badge. I've done that myself. I'm on the second go around on it now on assignment 1 out of 5, where you can still get Apollo tokens and Obsidian beacons and lots of other nice things on there by going through that. So I'm trying to complete that again and getting through that by hacking portals and capturing portals and neutralizing portals on my next few things I need to do. So all should be doable on there. But as I said, that one lasts a little while longer until 14th of August 2026, 6 p.m. UTC. And then, if that wasn't enough, we have another campaign coming up. So I'm going to read through the Corporate Synergy. This is similar to Red Codex, where there's 1 free and then 3 paid campaigns. On the 24th of July, the Ingress team put agents in alignment with our shared commitment to cross-sector innovation and operational efficiency. The National Intelligence Agency is pleased to relay a higher priority recruitment dispatch from our strategic partners, IQ Tech Research, Hulong Transglobal, and Visitor Tech. Please review the forwarded message below from Corporate Talent Acquisition. Hello, I'm Nancy from IQ Tech /Hulong Global /Visitor Tech's recruiting department. I received your information from our online job portal. I think you might be the perfect fit for Test Subject Apollo Expendable. I notice your strong background as Ingress agent have been following your recent work in Candidate's most recent achievement. I'm currently helping a team who's working to develop innovative and exciting new detection algorithms in their applied research and development department. We here at IQ Tech /Shulong Transglobal /Visotech value outside the box thinking and maximizing operational efficiency at scale. And I can tell just by scanning your agent profile you have exactly what it takes to make it at IQ Tech /Shulong Transglobal /Visotech. Let's take this offline, starting July 31st at 6 p.m. UTC until we have a hard stop at August 31st, 2026, 6 p.m. UTC. If you have bandwidth to complete an introductory 5-stage campaign so that we can get to know you better, I'd love to pass your details along to the hiring manager for the next 16 total interview rounds. The NIA Compliance Initiative, to maintain operational oversight and evaluate the transparency behind this surge in corporate engagement, the agency is releasing an official high-priority audit track corporate synergy campaign. Available free to all agents, this initiative calls on you to audit raw network streams, evaluate corporate messaging, and review hidden operational data. The deeper you probe into these corporate channels over the month-long event window, the greater the actionable intelligence deliverable for the field. Completing this campaign grants the NIA 2026 medal. Corporate sponsorship channels. Agents who choose to engage directly with corporate deliverables will find 3 specialized corporate campaigns appearing in their dispatch feed. Unlocking any of these strategic partner tracks requires 15,000 CMU per corporate channel. IQ Tech Research Campaign. Focusing on hardware-centric innovation and rapid technological integration, IQ Tech invites agents to assist with hardware infrastructure deployment and system grid collaboration. Completing this campaign unlocks the official IQ Tech 2026 medal. Hulong Transglobal campaign, aiming to demonstrate physical reach and logistical control. Hulong's directive calls on field operators to expand operational footprints and establish regional dominance across global sectors. Successfully executing this campaign unlocks the Hulong Transglobal 2026 medal. Visotech campaign, pushing initiatives centered around machine learning and signal harmony. Visor seeks agents to interface directly with machine intelligence to stabilize localized XM streams. Completing this campaign grants the Visotech 2026 medal. All 4 campaigns will remain active in your dispatch tab throughout the event window. Circle back to this briefing, try to move the needle, and remember to touch base with other agents if you need help. And remember, from all of us here at IQ Tech /Shulong Transglobal /Visotech, we look forward to hearing from you very soon, or else. So that was the kind of corporate message that's got everything in it on there. The team do show off the 3 badges on there that look similar to previous corporation badges we've had. I'm not going to run through all the corporations at the moment that are in Ingress. They do come up every now and again, but I'll do that in a future episode or maybe bonus content in future, but I will go through that as we get towards it. I'm not going to run through all the assignments on there at the moment because we've got a little while. We've got a few other campaigns going on still, so I'll do that when we get around to it, when we've basically kicked off on it for next time, and then I'll update on how my progress is on it as well. And then for the final Ingress news update, we got a dev diary. This is our second one that we've ever had. We got one previously from Alex about Pinkgrass, and then unfortunately left the Ingress team. We've now got one from Brian Rose, just following on the previous statements about the upgrading the XM network. So it's called Rewiring the XM Network Under Extreme Pressure. Previously, I noted here that we migrated Ingress to a new database back in March 2026. The migration looked good initially, for 2 months across multiple playsets, plus Gamma Hyderabad, plus Gamma Buenos Aires, 2 Fast Saturdays in the Rhine Global Op. We saw everyday gameplay latency improve and most game actions felt smoother. But sometimes compounding factors can happen behind the scenes before reaching a tipping point, followed by an abrupt and unexpected collapse, gradually then suddenly. On May 16th, the spike in agent activity exposed critical bottlenecks that overwhelmed the new database. Autoscalers were too slow to scale up, game action logs turned into log jams, ghost records refused to die. Following Orion Prague, our team declared an emergency code red to completely rewire the Ingress backend in 13 days. This meant working nights and weekends through the Independence Day holiday to move fast and don't break things before Orion Cure and Orion Jersey City. If we failed to ship the following fix in time, we knew agents everywhere would experience general scanner app instability. Again, no pressure. Preheat the Anomaly oven. As part of our preparation for each live event, we scale up the Friday before every Anomaly weekend. During Orion Prague, the database still took 40 minutes to analyze the traffic spike and move the right data to continue to serve requests. In addition to provisioning more machines, we now also specify what data were heavily requested before the first anomaly measurement starts. Remove logjams. We use to maintain a separate database of most agent actions indexed by timestamp. This was great for querying historical data like generating a list of actions that happened between 2 p.m. and 2:15 p.m. for example. However, this was terrible for live write performance. Since every action during the anomaly happened right here, right now, every log entry was fighting to jam itself onto the exact same endpoint of the index at the exact same time. It was impossible for the database to keep up. We removed this index, and our internal administrative queries are slightly slower as a result, but they're good enough for NIA work. Plus the ghosts. Within the database, we also maintain an index of portals sorted by physical location and last update time. In everyday gameplay conditions, this index is highly efficient. The scanner app can query what changed nearby since it last checked and get a near instant answer. But in anomaly conditions, lots of portals are updated lots of times. Each time portal state was updated, the database created a new entry and added to the top of the list, leaving behind a ghost entry that was marked for deletion later. There is a minimum cleanup time of 1 hour, but the spike in agent activity generated 100 times more ghost entries than the real ones, which choked the system. Our solution was to remove the last update time from the index ordering. Now the database scans all nearby portals and sorts them on the fly. Similar to how removing the logjam earlier meant slightly slower admin queries, there is a trade-off here too. By skipping ghost entries altogether, this brute force method is now significantly faster in anomaly conditions, but slightly slower, less than 1.0 millisecond in everyday gameplay conditions. Reduce the blast radius. Suffice to say, we did not want to risk repeating what happened on May 16th, so anything and everything that might help mitigate these issues was considered. We know last minute changes, Calvin Ball, disrupts months of strategic planning that go into any anomaly, but we also felt we need the extra headroom that come from reducing the number of portal updates at the edges. We reduced XMP attack radius so that fewer portals would damage by each XMP fire, which in turn also reduced the total number of server updates required. In order to balance that reduction, we increased XMP attack strength within that smaller attack radius. Fewer portals getting attacked by a single level of XMP meant fewer database calculation per agent action, multiplied across hundreds of agents firing thousands of XMPs in an anomaly. Move to in-memory updates. Finally, the big kahuna. On our previous database, anomaly gameplay was by no means perfect, but the new database could not keep up. The biggest challenge we faced was how the new database handled rapid-fire updates to the same portal. Solving this required a seismic shift in how Ingress manages updates to the portal network. Instead of writing every update to the database instantly, we moved to an in-memory batching system that allows game action to process in faster temporary server memory first. To recap, in 13 days, our tiny but mighty Ingress team updated over 200 files, added over 22,000 lines of code, removed over 5,000 lines of code, drank over 200 cups of coffee. The results. On May 30th at Orion Cure and Orion Jersey City, the new server architecture held up under extreme pressure. We avoided another weekend of scanner app instability and global login issues, and our monitoring system reported the lowest anomaly gameplay latency on record. Comparing November 2025 plus beta Taiwan and plus beta The Hague, which ran the old database, to May 30th Orion Cure and Orion Jersey City, which were our first anomalies to run with pre-warmed anomaly sites, updated tables, temporary reduced XMP range, and in-memory portals. For November 15th, 2025, 99th percentile latency peaked at 9 times over 2025 baseline latency. After May 30th, 2026, 99th percentile latency peaked at 2 times over 2025 baseline latency. And we are not done yet. Our goal was to unblock anomalies so they did not take all of Ingress down, and then continue to improve both the anomaly and the everyday gameplay experience over time. Days before Orion Geneva and Orion Lima, we push fixed for portals getting stuck that required a like or thumbs up on the portal to get unstuck, and for issues that block some agents completing missions on mission day. Orion Cure, Orion Jersey City, Orion Geneva, Orion Lima, Apollo Helsinki, and Apollo Bogota have all been run on the new in-memory system. However, we still have significant work ahead to be able to switch in-memory portal outside of anomaly weekends. Next steps. As some agents speculate, we use the new server architecture during anomaly weekends and then disable it the following Monday. With each anomaly, we collect more data and agents help us identify new issues to investigate further, and so it goes. The new system can hold a portal state in memory, gather gameplay actions as they happen, and then write the accumulated results to the database in batches. Portals, links, fields, shards, and even drop types all share the same table, so every in-game action in Ingress had to be rewired, and it had to be done in a very short amount of time. If we missed even one action, the results would be catastrophic. We need more time, but we are confident we will finish this work and provide the long-term stability and speed the XM network requires. Thank you for your patience, your honest feedback and bug reports, especially ones with detailed steps on how to produce what you're seeing, and your continued dedication to Ingress. We'll celebrate 14 years this November, and we plan to celebrate many more milestones to come. Brian, on behalf of the Ingress team. So I kind of covered this a couple of episodes ago with what I got from Brian, that they are still working on it and what they're doing. It seems like they're hoping to have it done by November, but obviously there's a lot of testing. There's still more anomalies to come up. There's no anomalies in Q4, so I think the pressure is off a little bit there for them. Might mean they've got more time to work on it whilst not doing other things to the anomalies. But it all sounds like good news, so how happy with that. Next, I'll move on to Recon/other news as well. At the moment, OPR/Recon is on pause. We don't know yet when it will be back. It looks like the main focus is sorting out the back end, as I discussed in Brian's Dev Diary post. If you listened to the podcast previously, you'll know that I went through bits on Recon, like the rules, and I started going through some more bits. The last thing I did was back in episode 145, so a little while ago now, just regarding what to do about reviewing architecture according to the Recon rules. The Recon rules are all the same as they were on Wayfarer. I don't think that will change. Wayfarer itself might change now it's under scope to explore, but I'm going to assume all the rules on OPR/Recon will be the same for ease until they get more to grips with the system. So I'm going to start running through those again to get ready for Recon when it does return. Last time in episode 145, I went through architecture, which is one of the criteria clarifications that the Wayfarer team published back in 2024. So next on the list is unique art. So they say that works of art and architecture encourage exploration and reflect the communities where they are found and their values. For art, works of art are generally eligible so long as they're unique, distinct, and permanent. This can include indoor artwork, framed and murals, and museum exhibits that are intended to be permanent. Nominations should use the official title and credit the artist when possible. They should tell the story of the work, explain the cultural context. Submitters should make use of the supporting information section to verify the location and that it is unique and authentic using articles or other key information to help reviewers. In the case of temporary museum exhibits or art installations, consider whether it's better to nominate the museum or location as a whole rather than the individual exhibits inside. Murals and street art. Murals are great works of art and therefore eligible along with street art. Each mural should be a single waypoint unless it has sections that tell a distinctive enough story or are physically separate. Works that are considered vandalism would not qualify. I will say as well, murals on side of houses, if they're single family residence, private residential property, are also a no, because the rejection criteria overrides that bit. They give some examples, like a large scale mural in a public place that highlights the importance of the event to a community is likely commissioned. And then a mural of street art is distinct, unique, tells a story. Under vandalism, they give a thing of someone's tag and said the street art picture above may initially been a good example due to the overwhelming number of names and different style of addition to this piece. There is evidence to suggest it's not an intentional work of art and therefore not eligible. Business signage also comes under art as well, so unique artistic merit can make a sign eligible. That could include being a one of a kind and created by a local artist or being distinctive and noteworthy in the local community. Is this sign something worthy of exploration? Submitters should ensure they provide context as to why the sign meets acceptance criteria. They show the McDonald's logo and put that as a thumbs down. The logo above is famous, the golden arches, however, because it's so well known and widespread through the globe, it is considered generic or mass produced. They then show a mural that's a sign for a business as well. Say that function as a logo or sign for a business can be considered eligible because it's a unique work of art. And then a strange looking hammer as well. Said, even though the hammer above is technically an address sign, it is unique and notable to the business it's meant to represent and could be considered eligible. So could be, you'd have to make a case for it if you're the one submitting it. So I think art is fairly straightforward on there for when you're reviewing that whenever Recon decides to come back. Next time I'll go through the next section, but that is about it for this week, Agents. So thank you very much for listening. If you're listening to the bonus Patreon episode, you'll see that appear and be able to listen to a bit more, talk about the XM draft and things like that. For anyone else, thank you very much for listening and have a great Sunday. Happy hacking. Thank you, Agents, for listening to the latest episode of the Ingress Insights podcast. If you'd like to support the podcast, you can do that in a couple of ways. So the easiest way to support the podcast is via Patreon. So you can find it at patreon.com/ingressinsights. And there's a free tier, a $1 a month tier, whatever that is in your local currency, and a $5 a month tier. You can check out what benefits those come with on the Patreon. One other thing you can do that's totally free that helps out a lot is rating the podcast on your podcast service of choice. So where you can leave a rating or leave comments, that always helps increase visibility. And then finally, you can follow us on various social media channels. We use most of them, but the best one to follow us on now is Blue Sky. So that's just ingressinsights.bsky.social. Search for Ingress Insights on Blue Sky, you'll find us on there. Finally, sharing the podcast with friends, family, other agents who want to listen and get updates, so it helps out and helps get interviews with various Ingress people or other game-related people to then increase visibility more. So anything you can do from those is great. Thanks again for listening, agents. Have a great day.
Intel package transferred.